Dandavad Pranamal, glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devi Dasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you, Mataji, for all your services and welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Neetu Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki Jai Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you, Mataji, for joining each day and welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Chinmay Rajpriya Mataji, please accept my answers. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru and Guranga ki Jai. This is Shivani from Ashburn, Virginia. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Welcome to the call, Mataji, and thank you for all your services. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, it's 11. Shall I read Srila Prabhupada's quote? Will you start the recording, Mataji? Hare Krishna, dear devotees. It's time for us to move on to the next part of our session, which is class on Caitanya Bhagavata. And before I hand over the call to our dear speaker, I'll read Srila Prabhupada's quote for today. If one renders even a small amount of sincere devotional service, Krishna becomes obliged to elevate such a person. And what to speak of one whose entire life and soul has been dedicated to Krishna's service? This was said by His Divine Grace in his letter to Hare Nama Prabhu on November 6th, 1969. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we have class on Caitanya Bhagavat by Her Grace Radhabhava Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving your valuable time and coming here to enlighten us on the Supreme Lord's pastimes. So eagerly waiting to hear from you, Mataji. And today Mataji will be talking on Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Kahnda, 5th chapter from texts 66 to 70. So please take over the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we are going to cover today verses from Chaitanya Bhagavat. Before that, we will invoke the auspicious Mangalacharan. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutavada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathamvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we are reading Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Kahnda, chapter 5, text 66 onwards. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading text 66 today. Bhakta Gana Chali Lena Aparnar Ghare Nityananda rahilena Shrivasa Mandire. So this is in the background of Nityananda Prabhu coming to Srivas Thakur's home because his Vyas Puja is soon to be celebrated. So with this background, all devotees, they all came with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they did Kirtan and then they dispersed at night. So all devotees returned to their homes while Nityananda Prabhu stayed in the house of Srivas Thakur because next day morning they were going to do his Vyas Puja. Katho ratre Nityananda hunkara kariya nija danda kamandalu bhelila bhangiya. In the dead of the night, Nityanand suddenly roared loudly and broke his danda and kamandalu. The word kamandalu refers to water pot used by both sannyasis and brahmacharis. The householders have numerous pots to isolate purity from impurity. The sannyasis, however, have only one pot, a kamandalu. They are compelled to use this pot for all kinds of activities. According to the scriptures, the sannyasi's pot is called alabu or pot made from ash god. Since the brahmachari's duty is to serve the sannyasi, he must carry the kamandalu of his guru. The Upakurvana brahmacharis who marry after completing their vow reside in a particular ashram in which they study under the grahastha teacher. A brahmachari is supposed to carry kamandalu of a parivrajaka sannyasi. According to the opinion of some people, since Nityanand Swarup lived as a brahmachari with Sri Lakshmipati Tirtha, he had a kamandalu and a brahmachari danda made from either kadira, palasha or bamboo. According to others, Sri Nityanand Prabhu travelled as a brahmachari and Sri Madhavendra Puri. With Sri Madhavendra Puripad. At present, the brahmachari disciples of the Tirtha and Ashram sannyasis are known as Swarup. The brahmachari disciples of Saraswati, Bharati and Puri sannyasis are known as Caitanya. The brahmachari name of Nityanand Prabhu was Swarup. Since Swarup is the brahmachari name of a Tirtha sannyasi's disciple, some people consider him a follower of Lakshmipati Tirth rather than a follower of Madhavendra Puri. Generally, the danda is of two kinds. One is Eka Danda and the other is Tri Danda. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested his waywardness by breaking his own danda and kamandalu prior to Vyas Puja. One who experiences transformations of ecstatic love completely abandons the ingredients and external formalities of Vaidhi Bhakti or regulative devotional service. Because Nityanand Prabhu does not belong to the material world, the rules of Vaidhi Bhakti or Varnashram Dharma do not apply to him. So he broke his own danda and kamandalu. But if one creates disturbances by acting like Ekade Paka, he cannot be identified as a rasik or expert in transcendental mellows. So what is Ekade Paka? Here it is given in the footnote behind. The green jackfruit is called Ekade. Sometimes this green jackfruit becomes prematurely ripe and then can neither be used as sabzi or fruit. In other words, it is useless. So you have to throw it away. So if somebody behaves like Ekade Pak, then unripe fruit, which can never be used, and he cannot be identified as a rasik or expert in transcendental mellows. That is what Saraswati Pad is saying. Text 38. So now we understood through text 37 that we understood that Nityanand Prabhu broke his danda. Why? He is incarnation of Ananta Shesh. He is incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the rules do not apply to him. That's why he broke his danda and kamandalu. He does not come under the purview of the Vaidhi Bhakti or regulative devotional service. Ye bhujay ishwarera charitra khanda yene bhangi lena nija kamandalu danda. Who can understand the unlimited characteristic of the Supreme Lord. Why did he break his danda and kamandalu? Why did he do this? Let's read. Various persons have various ideas about why Sri Nityanand Prabhu broke his danda and kamandalu. So people have given their own explanations. Many people here, why? What are the reasons why Nityanand Prabhu could have broken this danda and kamandalu? But we have to consider the degree of consistency between the imagination of ordinary people and the real purpose of Nityanand Prabhu. Some people say that there is no need for rules and symbols in the worship of the Lord, and that these are actually impediments on the path of rag or attachment. Others say that if an unqualified person breaks the rules and symbols, considering them obstacles on the path of rag, he will simply create disturbances. So one has to be qualified, one has to be representative, or one has to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead to do acts like what Nityananda Prabhu did. So it is stated, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpatayaiva Kalpate. What does it mean? It means devotional service to the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like Upanishads, Puranas, and Narad Pancharatras is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. So these are the purports for this which I am reading. They are unnecessary disturbance. Since the acceptance of Brahmachari symbol by an Avaduta Paramhansa like Sri Nityanand Prabhu from a sannyasi on the regulative platform will create various speculations unfavorable to devotional service, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is beyond all rules and regulations of Varnashrama, eliminated those insignificant formalities. So he was beyond Varnashram Dharma. He didn't need, he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ananta Shesh, incarnation. So these rules and regulations do not apply to such great souls. But those who, due to absorption in matter, try to imitate and expand their own glories by engaging in activities beyond their qualification, they can never achieve any auspicious acts. So if you try to do something which is beyond your purview, if you try to imitate the Supreme Lord, when you have no adhikar, then what happens? You can never achieve any auspiciousness by such acts. All unqualified persons are not qualified. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.33.30, it is stated, Naitat samachare jatu manasapi yanishvaraha vinasyat acharam maudhyad yatha rudro bhidam yatha rudro dhijam visham. One who is not a great controller should never imitate the behavior of ruling personalities, even mentally. Out of foolishness, an ordinary person does not imitate such behavior. He will simply destroy himself. Just as a person who is not Rudra would destroy himself if he tried to drink an ocean of poison. One should be careful not to disregard this instruction. So this particular verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, it's 10.33.30. So before this verse is recited, what is the background of this verse? Why are they saying that we should not try to imitate the Lord? Otherwise, it will be a big problem. Why? So the background is that Parikshit Maharaj, so Shukadev Goswami has described the Raslila, and Parikshit Maharaj is now asking questions. Parikshit Maharaj is asking questions to clarify for himself and for the purpose of all of us. And he's asking Shukadev Goswami, O Brahmana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of the universe, has descended to this earth along with his plenary portions to destroy irreligion and to re-establish religious principles. Indeed, he is the original speaker, follower, and guardian of moral laws. How then could he have violated them by touching other men's wives? So this is the question which Parikshit Maharaj is asking before this verse is going to come. And what does Shukadev Goswami reply to Parikshit Maharaj? It's 10.33.29. This is a verse before this. Shukadev Goswami saying, the status of powerful controllers is not harmed by any audacious transgressions of morality which may be seen in them, for they are just like fire which devour everything fed into it and remain unpolluted. So he's giving an explanation of the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that we cannot compare them to the human beings. The rules of the human beings cannot be applied to the rules of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what Shukadev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj. So again, one who is not a great controller should, that's why he's telling, Shukadev Goswami is now telling Parikshit Maharaj that one who is not a great controller should never imitate the behavior of ruling personalities, even mentally. Okay, out of foolishness, an ordinary person does imitate such behavior, he will simply destroy himself. If you try to imitate the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you will simply destroy yourself. Just as a person who's not Rudra would destroy himself if he tried to drink poison from the ocean. So, if we try to drink poison from the ocean during the Sagar Manthan, the poison rose up and Lord Shiva drank it up, but he did not die. But if we try to do that, I'm sure we will die. So one should be careful not to disregard this instruction. Shukadev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj, we should be very careful not to disregard these particular instructions. Elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, now they have come to the prayers of Brahma. 10.14.21. It is stated, Ko veti bhuman bhagavan paratman Yogeshwaro tir bhavatas trilokyam Kva va katham va kathi va kadeti vistarayan kridasi yoga mayam. Now, very beautiful verse this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. These are the prayers which are offered by Brahma, and he's saying, O Supreme Great One, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, Master of all mystic power, your pastimes are taking place continuously in these three worlds. But who can estimate where, how, and when you are employing your spiritual energy and performing these innumerable pastimes? No one can understand the mystery of your spiritual energy, no one can understand the mystery of how your spiritual energy acts. So, coming here, it is very important for us to understand why Krishna is a mystery. Here, Brahmaji is saying that Krishna, you're a mystery. And how is Brahmaji saying this? Let us dive deep in this beautiful verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So these beautiful purports from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srimad Bhagavatam, they bring out a very important factor that the Lord is mystery and no one can understand him. Brahmaji himself cannot understand. Then what to speak of ordinary conditioned souls like us, struggling in this material creation of the Lord, struggling against the forces of material nature, hardly aware of our spiritual identity. How and where do we stand a chance? This is the situation of our fallen state. Therefore, what do we do in such conditions? We take shelter of the acharyas like Brahmaji himself, who enact these beautiful pastimes. What is a beautiful pastime he enacted? He stole the cowherd boys. And it is not that Brahmaji is incapable of understanding, but of course, he cannot understand the true sense of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He certainly knows that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After all, he is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Lord's own arrangement, because of the Lord's own arrangement, he mystifies his own devotees just to teach a lesson, and he uses his own devotees to teach the world. And therefore, these pastimes are appearing in the pages of our scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, breaking of the danda, kamandalu. We are not capable of understanding these. Stealing of the cowherd friends of Krishna. Then the other one is, before this, the purport from Srimad Bhagavatam was understanding the concept of Ras Leela. Parikshit Maharaj is also questioning. So, it has been explained that the Lord's Antaranga Shakti or the internal potency is a big mystery. Since no one can understand, it is best to surrender. When you don't understand, what is the best thing to do when you don't understand something? When you don't understand something, you finally surrender and you go to the person who understands the subject matter and who can explain it to us. Therefore, the Lord says, to one who surrenders, I grant my full protection. So he says, Kaunteya prati janihi name bhakta pranashyati. He quickly becomes, so kshipram bhavati dharmatma shasvat chantim nigachyati. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. So he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. And he says, O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that a devotee who surrenders unto me will never perish. So this bhakti movement teaches us how to serve and love the Lord. Therefore, the devotees engage in the 5 reciprocal relations with the Lord. We all know that. Sakhya, Dasya and all those. And therefore, they are not fearful. Anyone who's engaged in a relationship with Krishna will have his fears diminished. Actually, love and service, their devotees, are interlinked. They are like 2 ends of the stick. So wherever there is love, automatically service will follow. And we have all realized this. Even in material relationships, we realize if you love somebody, you are happily willing to do service for them. So they are like, I said, 2 ends of a stick. If you pull one end of the stick, the other will immediately follow. But in our case, we don't even know the Lord. We don't know the Lord. So where's the question of loving the Lord? Therefore, for us, the reverse process works. So we are first taught to serve the Lord. So when you start serving the Lord, loving him in time will automatically follow. It's just a matter of time, and it's a matter of your sincerity. You serve him with sincere dedication, and love will manifest in your heart for the Lord. It's just like when you have, just giving a material example just to correlate, when there's an arranged marriage in our Hindu culture, the man and the woman, they don't know each other before marriage. But as the wife slowly starts serving the husband, she starts pleasing the husband, and the husband starts reciprocating, and that's how they develop a strong bond and a relationship. So this is a very simple process, and so this is actually the process of our bhakti, the bhakti movement. So if you serve the Lord all the time, then one day you will start loving him definitely, and that is the perfection of our existence. So those who want to enjoy independently of the Lord and seek his favor to do this process, they are always in fear. So who is not in fear? A devotee who is always engaged in devotional service. Who is in fear? Those who want to enjoy separately. Okay, there are various processes of approaching the Lord, and bhakti yoga is the best process. There are those who want to follow the karma kandi process. They want to enjoy this world, but in order to enjoy this world, they need the favor of the Lord. So they'll pray, oh, hey Krishna, please grant me this benediction. So they want his favor. So somehow they approach him, but with fear in their heart. Ki dega ki nahi dega, dega ki nahi hua, to what will happen to my situation, my status. So this is the difference between a devotee and a materialistic person. One is always in fear, and the other one is fearless, at least trying to become fearless. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his Shikshashtakam prayer, is teaching us how to perform this bhakti very sincerely. He takes us to the pinnacle of this principle of bhakti, the topmost position, the topmost status that we should be having, the bhav. What is that topmost bhav? Ashlishya va padaratam pinashtu mam adarshanan marma hata karotu va yatha tatha va vadadhatu lampato mat prananathastu sa eva na paraha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us how to pray. He says, under all conditions, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, I am the prayer is, you should be praying that I am your unconditional servant. No conditions at all. The devotee has no fear because he does not expect anything from the Lord for the service he is rendering. We don't feel like, oh, because I'm offering this bhoga today, Krishna, please give me a wonderful feast by evening. No, this is not the approach. The position of the devotee is like, I'm offering you unconditional service. I'm not expecting anything in return. This is the pinnacle of the bhakti, the prayer. I just want to love you, my Lord. Another quality of the devotee is that he has implicit faith. So one is unconditional love, and second is he has implicit faith that no matter what, the Lord will protect me in all situations, and he has no fear. So we know Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he's singing in his Sharanagati writings, Dainya Atma Nivedana Koptritve Varana Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana. So the ways of surrender. What are the ways of surrender? Humility, Dainya, Atma Nivedan. What is Atma Nivedan? Dedication of the self. Goptritve Varana. That means acceptance that the Lord is the only maintainer of me. Nobody else is maintaining me except the Lord. Avashya Rakshive Krishna. And that firm faith that Krishna is surely going to protect me. Avashya Rakshive Krishna Vishwasa Palana. Firm faith that Krishna will always protect me. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is telling us this. So these are the some qualities of a devotee who is practicing bhakti sincerely. Unconditional love, and second is firm faith that Krishna will protect us through all situations. Now this world is a place where there is danger at every step. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. So Brahmaji here in this purport is praising the Lord in an ascending fashion. If you all open up this beautiful verse, for those who don't have Caitanya Bhagavat, this is a Srimad Bhagavatam prayer. So it's 10.14.21. So if we read it, he's saying, Ko veti bhuman bhagavan paratman. So he's saying he's praising the Lord in an ascending phase. Step by step, he's praising the Lord. First, he's saying, Oh Supreme Great One, Ko veti bhuman, Oh Great One. And then he feels, maybe this is not enough to call him just great. So what does he do? So he calls him the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then he calls him Bhagavan. Ko veti bhuman, Bhagavan. And then he gives him a qualification. What is that qualification? He says you are Paramatma, means the all-pervading. So he's going from calling him great to the greatest to the all-pervading. From Ko veti bhuman to Bhagavan to Paramatma. So this is a great feature. We need to try to understand this feature of Paramatma. Like I have already mentioned before, love is the basis of a relationship between the Lord and the living being. What is the basis of our relationship with God? Love. Just as a mother loves her child, she would never leave the child away. She will never let the child go out of her sight because the child is helpless. He's ignorant. He's innocent. The child is completely under the protection of the mother. So the mother is in constant touch and make sure she keeps the child in her constant sight. So exactly the same relationship exists between us and the Supreme Lord, the living entity and the Supreme Lord. The living entity who comes into this material world is in that precarious situation where he cannot afford to be alone. When we come here, we cannot afford to be alone. Why? Because we said there is danger at every step, and Lord Shri Krishna knows this, and because he's our seed-giving father, so he, like a loving mother, accompanies us as Paramatma in our heart, and he comes along and he accompanies the living being everywhere, witnesses all the activities that we are doing all throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the months, throughout the year, even when we are asleep. And that is why people do not understand the existence of the Lord. People don't understand this, that God is present within us as Paramatma. Why is it that we don't understand that there is Paramatma within us? The answer is that this is another great quality of the Lord. What is that great quality? Because it is mentioned here that he has multiple identities, normally it is difficult to understand somebody with multiple identities. We have just one identity. What is that one identity which we have? Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnera Nitya Das Krishnera Tatastha Shakti Bheda Bhed Prakash. That means it is the living entity's constitutional position to be the eternal servant of Krishna because he is the marginal energy of Krishna. So our identity is fixed. We are his marginal energy and we are his Nityadas. We are always his servants. But Krishna has multiple identities. Here Brahmaji is saying that Krishna has multiple identities. So sometimes he is the mother, he's sometimes the father, he's sometimes a friend, he is the husband of 16,108 queens. He expands in Ras Leela and he expands as so many Krishna for each gopi. So therefore, it is a mystery. That's why Brahmaji is saying Krishna is a mystery, because his identities are not only multiple, they are unlimited. So this is the Paramatma feature of the Lord. We have to remember. So great, then Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, and the Paramatma feature. So Brahma is qualifying further. You are all pervading Paramatma. And then Brahmaji explains that your pastimes are going on continuously. He's saying there next, your pastimes are taking place continuously in these three worlds, but who can estimate where, how, and when you are employing your spiritual energy and performing these innumerable pastimes? Now, continuously pastimes going on means it is difficult for us to comprehend. For example, Krishna is stealing butter. If you are thinking Krishna is stealing butter, how is it that this pastime is going on continuously? Krishna is stealing all the time? He has nothing else to do. Is he not doing this? Is he not going with cowherd boys? Or is he not? How can he just do this pastime continuously? That means, how do we understand this situation that a continuous pastime is going on? Therefore, our acharyas give analogies. They give very beautiful analogies. There's a very beautiful analogy by which we can understand this complex situation. This makes it simpler for us. We all know this shlok that Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhakar Yaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Radhikar. Krishna is compared to sunshine and Maya is compared to darkness. So wherever there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. So as soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion will immediately vanish. But there is another side to this analogy. And what is that side? Now let us try to understand this. The sun is shining, and we all know that the sun is shining all the time. The sun is never dark, but there are certain places in the world where it is night, and there are certain places where it is day. So why is this happening? So when the sun is shining, there should be no darkness, but there is darkness at some places and there is light at some places. That is why this is what we have just learned, that what is it that we have to see? We have to see one side becomes dark and one side becomes light. But the sun is ever shining and it never rises and it never sets and it never causes darkness. This is the real position of the sun. In other words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is ever present. He is neither born nor does he die. And this is only because of the rotation of the earth that the living entity perceives the sun to rise and to set. Otherwise, the sun is always where he is. He's always there shining bright. But because of the rotations, he is being perceived as setting and rising. It is only because of our ego. Now, the analogy is, it is only because of our egocentric nature that we are able to perceive the truth as it is. That is our problem. It is not that the sun appears and disappears. We are saying the sun is rising, but actually we are approaching the sun. And when we go away from the sun, we experience darkness. And we call it the setting and the rising of the sun. So please understand this, my dear devotees, that this is the Lord's power of illusion that makes us understand this concept of darkness and brightness. For our shortcomings, we ascribe it to other persons. This is how the power of illusion is working in this world. And what we just described is a graphic representation of how it works. The rotation of the earth is actually a depiction of our egocentric nature. The rotation of the earth is our depiction of our egocentric nature. Rotating around one's ego, always thinking of oneself. Aham mamiti. This is me. This is my problem. This is what I am facing. But the supreme absolute truth is ever present. And when propelled by our desire to enjoy separately from the Lord, he helps us forget him. So because we are propelled by our anarthas, we are propelled by our desires. So what does Krishna say? Okay, you want to do this? I will make an arrangement for you. So the Lord is actually the supreme enjoyer. We are not supposed to enjoy. Our constitutional position is to serve the Lord, not to enjoy. So just as a parent gives a toy to the child and he says, oh, here you go, you can fulfill your fancies, your desires. The Lord creates this material world where he allows us temporarily to feel that we are the enjoyers. And the Lord, then what does he do? He drops a curtain between himself and the entity so that we may enjoy without seeing the Lord. Now, why does he drop the curtain? Now, just imagine, just for example, you have a servant in your house and the servant is coming, he's cooking for you, and servant cannot sit with the master on the same table and enjoy the delicious food. Yeah, will the servant ever go and sit in the master bedroom? Will he go and sleep on the master's bed? No. So similarly, we cannot enjoy with the God being present here. That's why Krishna puts a curtain in between us and himself and says, okay, you can enjoy. Similarly, the Lord hides himself. This curtain is the false ego that separates us from Krishna. So sometimes there's a curtain raiser. We say, curtain raiser, matinee, curtain raisers, there you get a sneaker peek into the movies. So sometimes the Lord gives a glimpse, raises the curtain a bit and shows what is beyond the curtain. And what are these kind of experiences? They are known as mystical experiences. We sometimes feel like, oh, I have experienced something which I have never experienced. So these are the small glimpses into the spiritual nature of Sri Krishna. So you cannot raise the curtain by yourself. The Lord will do it. And he will do it when he feels like and however he feels like and whenever he feels like. He is in full control. He chooses to reveal himself whenever he wants to. If he doesn't, we are in ignorance. This is our position. We are in the ignorant position. So a sadhu is a devotee of the Lord who comes to deliver the devotee. Because we are on the other side of the curtain, it is not that Sri Krishna is abandoning us. It's not that he pulls the curtain and says, okay, now you guys have fun and I'm going to have my fun here in the spiritual world. No, he wants to retrieve us back. So what does he do? He sends the sadhus through the curtains. He sends his representatives to retrieve us. And that is why the sadhus come. And for one whose only subject matter is the Lord, is called a sadhu, who's constantly thinking of Krishna, serving Krishna, chanting Krishna's name, reading about Krishna, preaching about Krishna. That person is a sadhu. So this is how it is being described in this purport that the Lord is a mystery. So here in the purport, Brahmaji is saying Lord is a mystery. It is only by Lord's own choice he can reveal himself to us. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna in chapter 7:25, he says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritah mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. The Lord reveals his thought process through his scriptures. Through this Bhagavad Gita shlok, which we just heard, Lord is revealing himself through his scriptures. Therefore, scriptures are a benediction. So now I'm just trying to tell you all that, explain to you all that if Krishna is hidden, if there's a curtain, if he's a mystery, how do we understand Krishna? So this is how Krishna is very clearly telling us that through my scriptures, I am understood. The Lord reveals himself and his thought process through the scriptures. Therefore, the scriptures are a benediction of the Lord. In Caitanya Charitamrit, there's a very nice shloka. Maya mugdha jive tahi swata Krishna jnana jivera kripaya kaila Krishna ved puran. The conditioned souls, Maya mugdha jivera, enchanted. Maya mugdha means enchanted by the illusory energy of this material world, this conditioned soul. What happens to him? He cannot retrieve his Krishna consciousness by his own effort. Jivera kripai kaila Krishna Veda Puran, means when unto the conditioned souls out of kripa, mercy of Krishna, what does he do? Through his mercy, he presents the Veda Purans. Out of his causeless mercy, we have been given these beautiful scriptures to find out how mysterious Krishna is, so that we unveil the curtain, so that our false ego is dissolved, and we read these beautiful scriptures, understand the nature, and follow the processes which Krishna is telling us, so that we are out of this illusory energy. Okay, so the conditioned souls cannot revive Krishna by themselves. So here Brahmaji is enacting the pastime of the bewildered soul. So he is the one who has stolen the cowherd boys, and here he is enacting this pastime. And who else was bewildered? Arjuna was also bewildered on the battlefield, and thus the Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Therefore, these great personalities, they take different roles just to educate the common masses like us. There is a phrase in English. It says, you have to stoop to conquer. Have you ever heard of that? You have to stoop to conquer. Usually, conquer is by aggression. You go and you conquer. But there's a phrase which says you must stoop to conquer. You can conquer by another way also, and that is by stooping. So Brahmaji is certainly not a fool, but he takes the position of a fool. He is actually conquering the Lord by surrendering and in a subdued behavior. He's surrendering, he is conquering Krishna's heart. We all know that when we surrender, Sharanagati, it conquers Krishna heart. And this is actually the inner reason for these leelas, to show Sharanagati. Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Shadanga Sharanagati hoi bejahar, tahar prarthana shune Shri Nanda Kumar. The youthful son of Nanda Maharaj Sri Krishna hears prayers of anyone who takes refuge in him, who surrenders unto him by sixfold practices. And what are those sixfold? We mentioned Dainya Atma Nivedana Goptritve Varana Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana. Then what are they? Humility, dedication of self, acceptance of Lord as one's only maintainer, Goptritve Varana, and Vishwasa Palana. Avashya, faith that Krishna will surely protect. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana. Then this is 4. What are the sixfold? Bhakti anukula matra kariye svikar, bhakti pratikula bhava vajanangikar. So, which are the fifth one is execution of only those acts which are favorable to pure devotion. And the sixth one is renunciation of conduct that is adverse to pure devotion. So, actually, what is our position in this world? Our position is we are like these small children who want to play, who are in the house and who want to play. So what does the child do when he's at home and he wants to go out to the park and play and enjoy? He cries. He'll cry. And then he goes out to his mom. And then he raises his hands. And then he starts crying and calling out. Then the parent comes very lovingly. And then they understand, the baby is wanting to go out. He's crying. He's doing this action. Lift me up, mama. And then the parent very lovingly smiles and they carry the child and they open the door and take the child out to play, to enjoy outside in the material world. So this is exactly how the living entity in this material world is. He has only one choice. Like this child, what is the child doing? He is calling out for the mercy. Similarly, of his mother, we have to call out for the mercy of the Lord. We have only one choice, to surrender and to raise our arms and cry out for the mercy of the Lord. And that is why in our ISKCON, we have this practice of raising our arms and singing and chanting, which has special significance. This is the special significance, that we are appealing for the mercy of the Lord to come and help us, because we are completely helpless. And this is also why Draupadi, it's not just ISKCON, it's also there in our scriptures. We find many devotees, bhaktas, who are raising their arms. And the striking example is Draupadi. Even when she's being stripped of her sari, in the Kuru Sabha, she says a beautiful prayer, and it's one of my favorite prayers. I'd like to share that with you all today. She raises her arms and she calls out Krishna. Govinda Dwaraka Vasin, Krishna Gopi Janapriya, Kauravai Paribhuta Mam, Kim na Janasi Keshava. She's saying, Oh Govinda, oh resident of Dwaraka, oh Krishna, oh friend of Gopis, do you not know that I am being humiliated by the Kauravas? And then she says, He Nath, He Ramanath, Vrajanatharthinashana, Kairavarnava Bhagnan Mam, Uddharasva Janardhana. She says, O Lord of Lakshmi, Ramanath, O Lord of Vraj, O destroyer of affliction, save me. I'm drowning in the ocean of Kauravas. She's saying, Kairavar Nava Bhagnan Mam, Uddharasva Janardhana. Please save me from the Kauravas. Krishna Krishna Mahayogin, Vishwatman Vishwabhavana, Prapannam Pahi Govinda, Guru Madhye Vasidatim. She's saying, O Janardhan, O Krishna, Krishna Krishna Mahayogin, O best of the yogis, O soul of the world. She's saying, O origin of this universe. She's saying, please protect me. Please protect this surrendered soul, O Govinda. I'm sinking in the midst of the Kurus. So this is a very beautiful prayer. We must all recite this every day, because we are also in this material world, we are also sinking and we are not realizing it. Let the curtain be opened by Krishna by our offerings of our prayers, by following the scriptures, by doing stuti, by prayers, by chanting. Only then the curtain will be unveiled. Only then the mystery will be unfolded. So these were the highlights of the verses today. So I made a small attempt to explain whatever was given. So we'll read text 69. Prabhate uthiya dekhe Ramai Pandita, Bhanga Danda Kamandalu dekhiya Vismita. So now when Ramai Pandit rose early the next morning, he was astonished on seeing the broken danda and kamandalu. Panditera sthane kahilena tarta kshane, Shrivasa balena yao Thakurera sthane. He immediately informed Srivas Pandit. Who is Ramai Pandit? He is his brother, Srivas Pandit's brother. So he immediately informed Srivas Pandit, who told him to go and inform the Lord. The phrase Thakurera sthane means Sri Gaura Sundar. That is Shri Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So with this, I will end my session today. If anybody has any questions, comments, corrections, please feel free. And please forgive me if I have made any mistake or error. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Hari Bol Mataji. A very, very beautiful class. It was so full of instructions of how to surrender. You took from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur the 6 limbs, and you kept reinforcing something should get into our head. That was your goal. You did it so beautifully, Mataji. Yes. And very beautiful, Mataji. Stoop to conquer. It's amazing. Very, very beautiful. So we should surrender and win Krishna's heart. Your theme was beautiful, and it was a beautiful class, Mataji. And how you said in material world, we have to first love someone and then we start serving. But our acharyas are showing us how you start serving step by step, and finally they bless us. The Lord gives us mercy. Beautiful class, Mataji. Thank you so much for giving this class. And I see raised hands. Do you have time, Mataji? I think it's Preeti listening, Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, please go ahead. Preeti
Hare
listening.
Krishna, Radhabhava Mataji. What a pleasure to have you on the call and speak. It was so nice, such a mesmerizing class, actually. All about love, how to execute devotion nicely, and about surrender, which was the key theme. It was covered so beautifully, Mataji. Like Chinmay Mataji was saying, every word, every step was beautiful for us. So we were relishing this class so much. Yes, definitely. our Krishna consciousness culminates in surrender. Art of surrender is so important. And you spoke about it so beautifully, taking different examples of devotees and beautiful analogies to suit that example of telling how we surrender. And yes, I think everybody on the call enjoyed this analogy that you gave about arranged marriage, how it begins with service. And finally, there is a loving bond that is developed. I think everyone was relishing it and commenting about it. Beautiful, the classes, Mataji. Really loved it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for allowing me to serve Chaitanya Bhagavat and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, Devi, do you want to go ahead?
Thank you very much, Mataji. Very nice
Oh,
class. Very
sorry.
nicely explained about how to love and what to love, whom to love. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
And
Krishna.
process also. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please pardon me, Komodaki Mataji. I didn't realize it was you. Hare Krishna Mataji. Balabhadra Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Mataji, actually, Sudevi unmuted and in between Komadiki Mataji spoke. Sudevi, go ahead.
Devi Mataji was there before me. Yes, please.
Yeah. Sudevi, we can't hear you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Very beautiful class. I just have one question, Mataji. Can you please tell me what was the prayers that Draupadi Devi prayed? What are those prayers?
You want me to share it with you, dear?
Yes,
Yes, Mataji, even I have that question.
Okay, so I'm going to share it on, I have them here. It's from Mahabharat. I'm sharing it. It is the Sabha Parva 67.82 to 83. Can I share it on Bhakti Sangha? I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah,
So,
put it in the chat.
Mataji, you can share it to Preeti Mataji because only admin can message it.
yes, I've just shared it with Preeti Vilasani. She will share it on Bhakti Sangha with all of y'all. They're beautiful prayers. It's one of my favorite prayer. If y'all just read it carefully and recite it sweetly, it's such a beautiful act of surrender. You can actually raise your arms in front of the deities every day and just repeatedly say this prayer. They are the prayers of the Queen Draupadi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sudevi, for asking it for everybody's benefit. Go ahead, Prabhuji. Balabhadra Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hello, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hello, Pranam. Very
Hare
beautiful class. Very beautiful class, Mataji. Certainly, I love those prayers too, because every time I am in stress, I feel like I am like Draupadi and only Krishna can help me. So we raise our hand and we call him out of love, and he certainly helps. We all know that in our lifetime that happens. So thank you for bringing, and thank you for that example. That was such a beautiful example when woman is married and then service is there and the love is created, and our Srila Prabhupada has given us all that process. Mataji, today I attended this class out of my greed. We sometimes have these greeds. I am a die-hard fan of your Prabhu, Adigadar Prabhu. I listen to his classes so many hours that my wife sometimes says me, you are a mad person. You're continuing listening to one person. But I love him so much. So Mataji, as you gave the example of material world, how in arranged marriage this happens, I can simply relate it to, when we go to Krishna, we say we have to go through Radharani. So in your case, when I have to go to Adigadara Prabhu, I have to ask you how to please him. So Mataji, how to please Prabhu? I am not in very good interaction with him, in sense his classes are little time difference because I'm in Canada, different time zone. So I listen to him always on his YouTube channel. I'm glad that YouTube exists and Adigadar Prabhu is there for me. So how to please him with something that I can show Prabhu, I love you. So how to do that, Mataji? You are the nearest person to him.
It's best you ask him. I'm not the right person to ask, honestly.
He's so busy, Mataji. And then I'm glad he's busy because he's giving so many beautiful lectures which can just increase our knowledge about Krishna. He talks so much about philosophy. He tells so many stories that I love. He's like a full of bhandar of stories. and yeah, so I thought today was I thought I get in Mataji's class, and your class was so beautiful actually, and my greed was my thing was to ask you what should I do for him, like to just get his attention. Oh, Balbhadra Kripa is there too. He's so busy. He's always giving classes and courses and whatnot.
Prabhuji, I'll let you speak to him. If you text him,
Mataji.
I'll,
Okay,
I'll let him know to answer your messages and texts. So
thank you.
you can
That will
ask.
be very great of you, Mataji. Please bless me, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. Very
Dhanyavad.
beautiful class.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Darshini Mataji, please go ahead. Mataji, do you have time? I'm sorry, I didn't check with you.
Yes, Mataji, maybe last question. After this, we can end the
Sure,
session.
sure, Mataji. Darshini Mataji, please go.
Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, Shri Srila Prabhupada.
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
thank you so much for the very beautiful class. I really enjoyed each and every part of the class. Mataji, I just had this question that we always say that, only after we surrender completely, Krishna listens to our prayers, right? So right now, at least for me, I'm speaking, I'm not completely surrendered to Krishna. So, Mataji, am I audible?
No, your voice is cutting, Mita. Can you
Hare Krishna, Mataji, now am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. I'm trying. Let's see.
Okay. Yes, Mataji, my question was like if we have not surrendered completely to Krishna, I'm talking about myself. So the prayers that we do, like, will it help us in surrendering to Krishna later? Or is Krishna still listening to our prayers, although we are not surrendered completely?
So your question is, if you pray and offer prayers, will Krishna still accept your prayers and make you more sincere? Is that your question?
Yes, Mataji, if we have not completely surrendered.
So yes, any of the ninefold devotional processes which you do are helping an individual getting cleansed. So if you do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Atma Nivedanam, Pada Sevanam, offering prayers, chanting, singing, whatever you do, every process in devotional service and any of the 9 devotional processes and multiple you are doing, at each step you are getting cleansed. Even if you are insincere, Krishna says that he will make sure that he reinstates your original nature. So if you sincerely are trying to do something but are still having material inclinations, with continuous effort in all the other practices of devotional service, that inclination, material inclination, will gradually decrease and you will eventually become sincere. So even if we are insincere, we should continue offering prayers, continue chanting, continue how much ever we can, because there will be a time where these processes will cleanse all your insincere desires and they will make you sincere.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Then pranams. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. There are some comments in the chat. Very many Matajis have thanked you for a very wonderful class. So with your permission, we'll end the call, Mataji. Let me offer my respects to all the Vaishnavas and you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha. Nantakoti Vaishnava ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Radhabhava ki jai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji, for beautiful class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavad pranams. Hoping to hear more from you, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hoping to hear more from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Beta. Hare Krishna. Koti Koti Dandavad pranams.
Guru Maharaj.